it's an homage to the Amstel Gold race. 166 kilometres, so not as long as the full-on Amstel Gold, as you'd expect. It's stage 5 of this year's Binckbank Tour. New sponsor after the Eneco did such a great job with this fantastic race between the Netherlands and Belgium. Well, overall, we've got Stefan Koen, who is our leader, but Peter Sagan is the man on form, and hard push to bet against him. However, Tom Dumoulin must feel like he's coming home. It's the Tom Dumoulin Cycle Park where we're going to finish today. We made the finish a bit less technical, by the way, so it won't be quite so punishing. What about yesterday? Well, a man who was punishing himself. It was full of self-criticism late on. Andre Greipel, Martin Niels Pollitt and Pim Ligdard it was that animated most of the day. They were out there in a very high-quality breakaway that kind of started to believe in itself, but frankly there were too many teams with too much interest to let them go away, especially with some classics days to come where each three of those breakaway riders could thrive. Alex Dowsett decided it was time to go and just have a little bit of fun out there, and why not? And he dragged along Dion Smith, the Kiwi. This was late on when we got to the final Primus. That drew out as well a response from plenty out there. Then it was all down to the sprint. Inevitably, you might say, in grisly conditions throughout the day, and indeed home they came. Lanigan was the centre of several loops. By the time we got to the line, it was Ed Toombs who took his first World Tour win of his career. Did it in some style. Fast finishing Peter Sagan in an unfamiliar blue jersey, just missing out on some bonus seconds. Great day, great finish, and a great winner, I think it's fair to say. Well, Ed Toombs has got himself right back into everyone's thoughts. Odds against him collapsed from 200 to 1 to about 33s today. Felice was there to hand out the smiles, as you can see, and Ed Toombs himself was joining in the party. They shared a Marco Kump, Tim Merlier and Peter Sagan, with Groenewegen rounding out the top 5. Yet again, very anonymous sprinters out there, Kittel and Viviani, as well as Demar nowhere to be seen. Kung then leads into today, so he's carrying that rather sizable hero chin up the road once more with a margin of just 4 seconds over Massage Bodnar and Tom Dumoulin. Don't count out the likes of Tom Dumoulin today, because today's the day it starts to roll. Rock and roll. Peter Sagan, he's certainly the star, or the star turn here, and indeed, despite his shaved head, BBC, as they say, ball by choice at the moment. He is leading the points classification. Pierre Allegaard, who just can't help himself but get in breakaways and deal with the Primus sprints, is doing the job of getting lots of beer money and indeed the odd keg or two for himself. So, Tom Dumoulin Bike Park, our destination, and time then to start thinking about the day. What can Groenewegen do? Probably not too much today. Greipel, well, he seems to be a ubiquitous do-everything, a bit of a Swiss Army knife rider at the moment, but it's possibly because he can't decide what to do with himself. Balance is probably a more natural choice for Lotto Soudal today, so we'll see how he goes. Double banana day for him, as you can see, so like a gunslinger, he's come fully prepared. Meanwhile, Slachter, Tom Jelter, and why not, Sepp van Mark, old Zeppy, suffers with terrible bad luck, and if you can hold that together, that part of his life, as it were, you might have some fun. Likewise, the Belgian champion, Ollie Naesen, Étoile Mondiale, they've been lively over the last couple of days, and it may well be that they've been busy protecting him, and he's in a decent position. So Ian Starr there, the big brute, and this is Tony Martin, a man who kind of shies away from publicity, win or lose, indeed. Jens Kerkelaer, now, this is somebody else whose odds have actually tumbled, just like Van Mark. What about Bakkert? There are plenty of others as well to conjure with on a day such as this. I think it's going to be Craig Anderson for Sunweb today, after they've had a bit of a focus on their sprinter, of course, Bauhaus. And why not Tom Dumoulin, who's coming back to his own velodrome, essentially. Today is the bike park, I should say. De Vries keeping the end up, or hoping to do so, for Astana. And Yes, well, they've been possibly Michael Valgren. I would have thought actually was a better, more natural choice for them with Astana. To be frank, Lars Bohm, well, he's a bit of a brute, particularly on days such as this. It could be that he turns the clock back a little bit. Veteran status for him these days. Quick step with Yvan Lampere, sparing us a smile. Blushes spared by the larger gentleman there. And this is Philippe Gilbert, who's still staying really down with the kids, gelling his hair up. So hair up, down with the kids. Nicky Terpstra, why not? From a breakaway or at least a late push. Probably a very good bet, still carrying his national accent upon his sleeves and while carrying the red jersey. Who else but Peter Sagan doesn't like to talk to, well, anybody, it seems. Jesper Stuyven cruising in for a bruising, perhaps. He's many people's pick for the day, actually. But it's hard to look past the likes of Greg Van Avermaet, who leads the World Tour points at the moment. In fact, he turned up for duty. So what about Greg today? Could be World Tour points leader, but he's had a bit of a dry patch of late. But nonetheless, he looks like a bad boy, but he's actually a nice boy, Brian.
Yes, he is. A nice lad. I've spoken to him a few times. But Stefan Kung has got the leader's green jersey, and Greg Van Avermaet will want to try and help him keep a hold of that as well.
As far as Orica are concerned, Kirkalaire is a natural choice on a day such as this. I'm looking forward to seeing how he goes. And Piet Alligaard in that black Primus jersey in elevated company here. Peter Sagan getting rid of... Gosh, he nearly shot his finger off there. That was probably as bad a use of a starter pistol as I think I've ever seen. There is gas that comes out, by the way, despite the fact that that hits the bang. So it would have stung if he'd had his finger on me. I've dislodged a nail, but nothing more serious than that. Anyway, we've got brighter weather today. Darkening as we speak. Our breakaway is still got 3 minutes, but this is the course we're dealing with. Big old loop until we get to the Tom Dumoulin bike park. But just look at the climbs along the way. We have plenty of them, and despite the fact we're joining the day with already 100 kilometres in, I can tell you there's still plenty of climbs to be had. In fact, we have, just sort of double checking, 10 to deal with, a little bit less than that right now. The Veglangs Stammen, looking forward to that. In fact, that's coming up next on our run. No, it's not. It's the Schatzberg, which you can draw your own conclusion as to how they named it. But anyway, here's your... It's not nice. Here's your break. Big Hepburn just coming through. Just to put his nose in the wind for Orica Scott. That's a good excuse, Nick, then for Jens Kirkalaire further back. Bagdonis is also in the break here. Katusha is represented by Jente Biermans, Tony Martin's erstwhile teammate. No surprise to see Piet Alligaard up the road yet again. He's loving getting up on the podium and standing next to the lovely Felice Blankets. Yes, Armand Reinders really would love to get the chance, but it's not happened for him so far. We've got Bagdonis, Bag of Donuts, so never short of a nibble or two for AG2 on Le Mondial. We have Kevin Van Melsen from Wanty Group Gobert, I think you saw a few moments ago. And Peter Vakoch from Quickstep Floors. So Quickstep have put a man in the break, although I expect, Brian, that this break is not going to be allowed to succeed because there's a lot at stake here today. Who's the best placed of our breakaway?
Best placed is Peter Vakoch of Quickstep Floors, the 25-year-old Czech rider. Finished recently 34th in the Tour of Poland, so comes here with form getting better and better. And we all seen yesterday that Lampard had a go. Kitto obviously not in form, so they're looking for different options. No real surprise that Katusha in the breakaway, they've decided, because they've lost a couple of their kind of sprinters, that they've decided to go on the attack.
Well, going down heavy, and that one does not look nice. Just trying to see who's involved here. Oh
Ollie
dear,
Nason.
yeah, last, I beg your pardon, Ollie Nason, the Belgian champion, they're struggling to free him at the moment. That'll be spoke damage at the very least, one would have imagined, but 82 Le Mondial are in a bit of a panic at the moment because the pace is high and this is not good. Roy Sutherland just sorting himself out, finally gets himself free. I can't believe there's no bike damage there for Nason, and he's going to struggle. Medical cars here. Indeed, have lit up the beacon, which is essentially a call. So I imagine that we have an injury here. Let's hope that that's not a serious one. They're busy trying to deal with it, but yeah, nasty tumble at pace, straight road, just boxing for position, Brian.
Yeah, they were starting to move up, and unfortunately, touch of wheels and over they went in a ditch. The Rompot rider seems to be worst off. Nason was involved there. He had a team in there to try and help him, but you know, a bit of chaos. Nerves in the front of the peloton. We're getting near to 60 kilometres to go. Cannondale on the left-hand side with Ryan Mullen, Quinziato with BMC. But yeah, it was just an unfortunate incident. This is what happens in this part of the world because it's all pushing and shoving and trying to get some road space, keeping near the front. We've all heard it over the last few days. It's important to stay near the front. My team kept me near the front all day. When you race in Belgium and Holland, that's what you hear all the time. It's important to stay near the front.
That's precisely what's happening here. Looking at the hero jaw, the desperate Dan jaw almost of Tom Dumoulin, just embedded here. You see Borrow also doing some work. Mullen's been ubiquitous throughout this race and even on sprint days, but right now he's keeping the pace as high as he needs to as well. The Irish champion doing a super job for Cannondale Drapac. This is for Sepp van Mark. Thankfully, Sepp got away with it without being involved in that one because he does linger sometimes off the nose. In fact, he's embedded about position 10 as we speak. In fact, that's him further up. 2 minutes and 49 there with 61.8 to go. We'll have a climb for you in a short while. They come thick and fast, and here's that moment. A little bit of cross country. Can't really quite see why that was required, but anyway, they all drifted, and in fact it was reflected onto the other side of the road as well. A bit of street furniture in the centre, designed to slow traffic down. There it is, the pennant man, and they were basically just too fat to cope, Brian. The funneled road there, they couldn't squeeze into, so some were squozing out onto the rough stuff.
Yeah,
that's the result.
He's lucky with that pole there.
Yep.
He didn't hit that pole. Rory Sutherland went really into the ditch there. Okay, a soft landing, he seems to be okay, but Nason get tangled up on a bike. This is what happens when you're coming down the road and then you go to a central reservation. Quite common in this part of the world, and everybody kind of moves over, and when you move over, touch of wheels, people try to avoid it, and unfortunately this has happened to Nason from AG2R, but I'm pretty sure he'll get back to the front. But as we see, we come onto some smaller roads, and this is quite consistent in this part of the world. I've ridden at the classic Amstel Gold myself, and this is a kind of mini Amstel Gold, certainly in the territory, 167 kilometres, and it's constantly changing up and down hills and small roads, and you have to be really attentive.
You do. We'll take a break. We'll be back for the first of our climbs that go to air today after this.
What is this place?
The Modern Software Factory, a hub of digital transformation. Is this where we come to compete? This is what you build to compete, where insight drives experience, where automation delivers better apps faster, where agile isn't just a buzzword, it's a way of life.
What about security?
Strong, yet frictionless. All working together at scale. It's about moving to new from old.
Oh, that's not right. I'll put mine back on.
1, 2, 3.
For many years, TDK supports and inspires future generations through athletics.
Inspiring. I think we were brought here to inspire the young kids, but in turn, the young kids inspired us too.
Don't forget to watch the World Athletics Championships. They are here in London. I'll be there. Make sure you are.
TDK.
Visu, today's stars, tomorrow's leaders. Challenges to bring you back the best sensations. We went off the beaten tracks, so you would always be one with the road. We took a few nasty hits to come back with the smoothest driving experience. Everything we learned from our challenges, you benefit from every day. Peugeot SUV, imported from the dust.
Welcome back. Big squeeze going on, as you can see. It's we're coming through Orsbeek, and in fact our breakaway is maintaining 2 minutes and 57. Getting back in is Ollie Nason. Nice one, Nason. He's back in. Not too much of fluster, although the pace up front has still been maintained. They're not hanging around. And there's an awful lot of street furniture here in the Netherlands, it seems. In fact, today we're in Holland. Tomorrow we will be crossing back over to Belgium for the remainder of this race. But the Amstel Gold is nodded to today. And we've got some great racing coming up for you. Not least because fairly shortly we will be on the Schatzberg. The first of the climbs that you're going to see today, however, it's deep into the day, which features many of the climbs. You haven't missed too much. The Kreuzberg, the Coburg are a thing of the past, I'm afraid. They've already been dealt with today, along with the Wassersley and the Winddrag. However, just before we came to her, we had the Bergstrasse, which we'll be seeing again because we're on this loop of 38.8 kilometres. So you're also going to get a preview of the finish line today. And the finish line, Brian, has been altered due to the possibility of inclement weather. And they thought, frankly, it would have just been a bit crazy to do the looping course that is the Tom Dumoulin bike park.
Yeah, the rider's still heading towards the finish.
They changed the finish.
Yes, you've told everybody. Yeah.
Well, I haven't told them how, but I'll tell you now. Brian was busy concentrating. They're going to go round the edge of it today, as opposed to taking a whole sequence of little turns on the infield, essentially. So we're more of a rectangle that we're dealing with today, Brian, which is, I think, a blessing.
Yeah, we still finish in the Tom Dumoulin bike park. It's a kind of straight in, round the outside and to the finishing line. Taking out the Techno next year, as you said, Carlton. That'll come in 56.9 kilometres. They've already seen it twice already, so they've already had a good look at it. I think the riders more so are looking at the next climbs coming up, about positioning, about how they've been able to look after their GC contender. This stage is going to be quite different to the previous stages for the sprinters. There's still a strong enough breakaway. This breakaway with McDonis at the front, the 31-year-old Lithuanian in the orange. You've got Reinders for a change in the breakaway. He's been in pretty much the actions from the start, as well as Pete Allegart of Sport Flanderen in the black and green jersey of the Primus Checkpoint Sprints competition leader. Also, you've got the best placed at the back in the blue. That's Vakoc of Quick Step Floors at 38 seconds. Beermans of Katusha in the red. The 21-year-old Neo-Pro from Belgium, Michael Hepburn, just coming through with the yellow helmet on for Orica. And on the right-hand side, you've got the man from Monte, Kevin Van Melsen. So 7 riders in the breakaway today.
And indeed, we are on the Schatzberg. It's a little bit damp, and in fact, there's not much room Just watch how they come down some of the little descents here, because they can pose a danger. We've seen accidents aplenty on the Amstel Gold Race. It really sort of wavers about. It's the area of the Netherlands which sort of proves the point, the exception that proves the rule, really. It is a flat land, but certainly not round here. It rolls a little bit, not unlike Derbyshire. I'm always saying that. I know it annoys some people. But yeah, it looks familiar to me anyway, just the roads around Hathersage. Go and have a look, you'll see what I mean. So nonetheless, they're on this little climb. It's 800 metres, 5%. They'll be doing it a little bit later on, and that's when it's likely to be very, very feistily fought for, because next time by, when they're at this point in another 38 kilometres or so, there will be the Golden Kilo. It comes very late today, and in fact all of the intermediate Primus, etc., are exactly that. In fact, the first of our Primus will be coming in about 10 kilometres time, incidentally. So they're just getting to the top of this climb. So having dealt with it, our breakaway, it'll be interesting to see how much fun it causes amongst the pack when they finally come through as well. The wind's starting to pick up. You can hear it on the effects mic here as well. And indeed, there's some billowing clouds which suggest we may get some rain. I think that's why they've struck out the technical nature of our finish today, just to keep it nice and safe for everybody, because had they used the infield, and when you see it, when they cross the start-finish line for the second time of asking, they'll be taking the bell, but you'll get some aerial shots as well. You'll see why they decided not to use the infield. Good for training, but certainly not for racing. Not when you've got a highly motivated bunch such as we are looking at right now. André Greipel's just getting himself up to the fore. He always goes strongly at the Amstel Golds and indeed other classics as well. Yesterday he sacrificed himself, but said of himself at the end of the day, Brian, he's lost his instinct. Not only sprinting, but his cycling instinct. He's having a real downer on himself at the moment. I hope he snaps out of it.
Yeah, he is. I don't think... Maybe it's the wrong word, the translation from German to English. I don't believe that you totally lose your instinct. I think it's more confidence than anything else. Obviously, this is the first Tour de France he's gone into in some years now without a win. And he's one of these riders that keeps on focusing all the way to the end to try and win. And I just think he needs a general reset. He needs to go out and start enjoying himself, because it's a lot of pressure for these sprinters, because they have to sit in the wheels all day. Albeit Greipel went out in the breakaway yesterday, but they have to sit in the wheels all day and then sprint to the finish with the other fast men, and it doesn't always work. So it's a long day for everybody. At least some of the other kind of domestic riders can get an opportunity to get in a breakaway and change things around a little bit and get out the peloton. But unfortunately for many of these sprinters, they have to stay in the peloton and get looked after and then deliver in a high pressure in the last couple of hundred metres. So it's no surprise that a sprinter, I think every sprinter goes through that. I think Mark Cavendish has been through it as well, and obviously he's gonna reset himself, his goals, his motivation. That's all it is. It's confidence and motivation, and it just needs Greipel to kind of reset these things. Take a step back to take two forward.
Binckbank, I'm afraid, just being tagged off here on the first of the day's climbs. Tony Martin coming to the fore. I actually thought Tony Martin might be a sort of a crazy outsider today. He does like to go long, and he can cope with these kind of inclines, and being short of the Amstel Gold, it's taken the frighteners off some of the fast men. You may well see some of the quicker guys. I'm thinking someone like Edward Turns, who won yesterday. Don't discount him for today, Brian, because there's a 6k recovery point after the last climb. It may well be you get some of the faster guys very much involved.
I don't think this is... it's obviously a little bit harder than the stages that we've had before. But Stein de Walder gets pushed off the road there because Sepp van Mark said, come over to the other side, and they all moved over and of course put everybody into the ditch. But the situation with this stage today, it's a bit more lumpier. There's more riders come into play a little bit. Maybe the big sprinters, as we've seen yesterday, like Kitto and Demar, may have a harder time and get dropped. Well, they get dropped in a fairly flattish stage yesterday. But it will bring into play some other punchier sprinters, and I think we've seen that yesterday. But I don't think this is an overly difficult stage. I say that when we look at Amstel Gold is a very difficult race, but this is only 167 kilometres. The Amstel Gold is nearer 260 kilometres. But then again, Amstel Gold is a one-day race, and this is the fifth stage of a multiple stage race. So it has its problems for many of the riders that have already ridden 4 days, hard racing. So we'll have to wait and see. But it's up and down. It's small roads. It's been attentive, and we can see from the front of the peloton with 50 kilometres to go, there is a bit of movement. There is about to kind of pushing and shoving to stay near the front.
Would you describe it as a shilly-shally?
I maybe would.
Upturn, I'm afraid, is down, but he'll be back up in a minute. 51.9 kilometres is where we peak out with the Veglang Stammen, and that's right now. It's only 350 metres, but here we go. Just in case you think I'm nuts, Paul Bennett, who lives in Derbyshire, said, yep, it's just like Derbyshire. Tim Bonneville-Gin says, yeah, he's at uni at Sheffield, by the way, good lad. He said, yeah, Hathersage is on some of my runs, and it's exactly like that. So there you are, I've got backup. Thanks, lads. 51.5, and these little downhill runs, dirty as well, as you can see. And watch the side of the roads. If you're thinking of trying to go up round the outside, there's some real fractures here, and you can get caught out. The gullies seem to have had a bit of frost damage, and you can pick yourself up and puncture very easily. This is a proper climb, actually. 8%. It's a nasty, short, sharp one.
The problem with this one is it's not the length. Okay, it's 8% as well, but it's the fact that it's so narrow. If a team go on the attack here, then it's very difficult to move if you're out of position. So that's why it's key to be towards the front, and that's why people are kind of pushing and shoving to be there. I wouldn't say it's an overly difficult hill for these professional riders, but positioning is going to be key if a team decides to go on the attack here.
You won't see many coming out of the saddle for this, but if it will be the approach to it that is very, very feisty. We're looking forward to that in a few moments' time, as the pack will get compressed. You can probably go 3 wide, I suggest, going up it for safety's sake, just to account for movement. And when you get movement, you get contact, and when you get contact, you get problems, and that's precisely what we've got here right now. And I'm afraid Pipo Ganna is on the deck and doesn't look happy.
No, that was a sore one. That was a bit of road furniture there, and that's pushing and shoving to move up, and then unfortunately the road furniture took out Ganna.
Check this out. We've got, 6 riders across the road. They can't all fit into the next climb. They're approaching it right now, so there'll be a race for position, and that's precisely what we've just seen with Pipo Ganna falling out the back because of it. A lot of chit-chat going on, as you can see, and Sepp Mark wants to be kept in a more than reasonable position. They've got Dylan van Baal today as well. Maybe some of the quick men may even survive for Cannondale. They could have some fun. So that approach coming right now there. In fact, Mullen does in fact get himself out of the saddle, the Irish champion. That white accent jersey, and there goes Tom Dumoulin, who just decides to ask for a little bit of pace for Sunweb. And in fact, they're just on this little downhill run. Quite sketchy on occasion. It's very, very narrow. It's damp, and here are your pickups. It's hard to read, Brian.
Yeah, it's just all about position at the moment. I'm not too sure if MDO wants to go on the attack this far out, but BMC towards the front in the red and the left, and the right in the red is also Debust of Lotto Soudal. So yeah, it's all about road positioning. Can't see anybody wanting to go on the attack. The break of 7 has still got just over 2 minutes, but Roy Curvers looking after Tom Dumoulin on the right hand side in black and white very well.
Short, sharp, entertaining for us, but look at it, they were about 7 wide coming in, and it's 3 wide at the narrowest point. Well, they've dealt with it rather safely, so we'll take ourselves a commercial break, and we will be back with you as they just inject a little bit more pace here. It'll be long and strung out after this, but they're taking the time to take the bottles. And there we are, we got away with it that time by. Looking forward to it next time by, Brian.
Yeah, Sunweb have decided to push on a little bit. Gaps starting to open a little. The race leader now sees the danger and starts to come across because if four riders from one team start to put a little pressure on. This is purely because they know that many riders are out of position here, and if they can push hard on the front, they can maybe try and kind of break the peloton and keep Tom Dumoulin out of trouble because he's sitting fourth place at the wheel at the moment. But you just see the peloton start to stretch out ever so slightly with the wind coming from the right hand side, forcing the peloton into the left hand gutter.
Yep, it's not nice. We'll take a break. We'll be back with our next climb, and in fact our Primus checkpoint sprint, which is in about 2 kilometres time. So we'll be back for that in a moment.
What is this place?
The modern software factory, a hub of digital transformation. Is this where we come to compete? This is what you build to compete, where insight drives experience, where automation delivers better apps faster, where agile isn't just a buzzword, it's a way of life.
What about security?
Strong, yet frictionless. All working together at scale. It's about moving to new from old.
Oh, that's not right. I'll put mine back on.
Bora, the revolution continues. Extracting vapors without a cooker hood. Effective and silent.
I love this cooking revolution. That's Bora.
The Brownlee brothers are the most competitive brothers in the world. If Johnny Brownlee could have beaten these award-winning summer products his brother got from Aldi, he would. But because he couldn't, he has to take one for the team. Win gold with Aldi's amazing award winners.
Do you know what I hate as well when it arrives is everyone jumping in. I hate that. I like to be the one that...
Let me lay it all out.
There's nothing worse than people go, oh, I'll just have that quick bargee. Oh, I'll just have that.
Love takeaway. Tap the app today at hungryhouse.co.uk.
Jim by Thai. Togetherness. A connection beyond man and machine. The all-new Mazda CX-5. Available 0% APR. Drive together.
This is Sky Sports Premier League. A new home for all the agony and ecstasy on one dedicated channel.
It really can take your breath away.
You can find all our live games, a brand new debate show every weeknight, and an enhanced Sky Sports app with new timeline function.
Premier League at its best.
Feel it all with our new Sky Sports Premier League channel.
Your hands can do incredible things. They can put a smile on a friend's face, turn broken into brand new. They can turn beads into something beautiful. And now your hands can turn your idea into a reality when you build a website with GoDaddy Website Builder. Just type in your idea, select a design, connect your site to your social media, then publish your site, even from your mobile phone. Start for free at GoDaddy.
So, coming up to Binckbank almost immediately, 700 metres with 4.5%. We've just gone through the Primus checkpoint, and as expected, Pierre Allegat and Almar Reinders duked it out. But it was Allegat who wears the Primus intermediate sprint classification jersey. Gosh, it's long to say. It's dark green and black, more or less. He's taken the majority of the points, Reinders second again. They were allowed to duke it out. Meanwhile, setting their stall out in fine style is indeed Team Sunweb. Great attack from them. As you can see, Seth Van Mark is not letting them get away. He's staying very much involved here for Cannondale Drapac. Dylan Van Baal not that far away either. But as you can see, this group is quite selective. What have we got? About 35, 40 riders potentially. And there's a big split then. If you're caught in that second group, you've got work to do. They've got their own climbs to deal with, we remind you. This is the Binckbank for them, 4.5%, sort of a wearing climb if you like. But next up, almost immediately, is the Vatersley, 400 metres, so one rolls into the next. In fact, our breakaway are only 700 metres away from it. Andre Greipel really is, well, yesterday I think he was just spinning his legs out, getting ready for today quite clearly. And he's doing a fantastic job within his own team. Tim Wellens and Chase Benute are the men that they are looking to help out today. And, well, they're helping themselves right now. There's the major split that you're looking at. Riders trying to bridge across. And using the protection, Brian, of some of these little hamlets here to give themselves a bit of a break from the wind. You can see the movement on the trees. It is out there. But whatever protection you can get, you will use if you're going to try and close a gap.
This is why we've been saying all along it's very important to stay near the front because you never know when a team is going to go on the attack. And it was Sunweb in the black and white that took it on over that previous climb. They came to the front with 4 riders, including Tom Dumoulin. Went over the top and swung left and immediately split into about 5 or 6 different groups. Okay, some of the groups in front have come back together, and now Lotto Soudal are helping out with Andre Greipel because they have Wellens there also, thinking of the overall. So the overall contenders are starting to use up their teams. They want to start pushing hard now, and that's split the peloton. So all that pushing and shoving has meant that the strong riders have come to the front.
Pierre Allegard then takes the 12 points of that Primus sprint. You can also see as well here, Brian, that Peter Bakoc is putting the hurt on. He knows that the gap's starting to close. If he can sacrifice himself up front in the break, he's going to force Sunweb to work harder, lots of Soudal as well, and it gives an excuse to his quick-step floors men. The likes of Nicky Terpstra, I think, could get something out of today, and maybe Philippe Gilbert or even Yves Lampaert. So, good move to have a man in the break, and Vakoc is doing the right sacrificial thing by imposing himself on the break, making sure that the chasers keep working hard.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very difficult for the breakaway to hold on to an advantage now because both Lotto Soudal in the red and Sunweb want to push this on. You can see some riders trying to come across the gap. They were the riders that have been caught out in that splits and realised they were in the wrong place at the wrong time and trying to come across. Still a large peloton behind. Will this come back together? Well, we'll have to wait and see how hard the team of Lotto Soudal and Sunweb, maybe some other teams have got their GC rider in front will want to push this out. All the time the gap to the 7 riders in front is coming down, 1 minute and 11 now. But good move by Sunweb. If they continue this, then this break will come back very, very quickly.
In around 5.5 kilometres time, gosh, there's a lot of road furniture here as you come past what was the old seminary, which became a sanatorium. I don't know what it is right now. Looks like a college of further education, but anyway, onto a really lousy road. Look at that. They laid it concrete, but they didn't have many big concrete pans, and as a result, these are student quarters, aren't they? So there we are. It's a rough old road. It leads down towards the Tom Dumoulin cycle park, and we'll be crossing the start-finish line at 38.8 kilometres from home. So I'm hoping that we won't be on a break when they come through to take the bell, giving us 38.8 kilometres still remaining. Better highway right now. This is a bit of a transition, as you can see, and they're hooking up with riders along the way. I think it's fair to say. This is further back, just getting a little bit of service. That's Kevin Van Melsen. Just going back to the car to get some sustenance. Look how strung out it is, Brian. There's a real pace about today.
Yeah, this is why the gap is starting to come down to the breakaway. Just looking a little bit further back, this is the second group in the roads. But the first group, some riders did make it across. But if you're in this group now, and Sunweb and Lotto Soudal, and possibly some other teams want to try and push on, then I don't think there's a case of this second group getting back to the front group of the GC contenders. Because look, Greipel's pushing hard, Sunweb are behind. You can see most of the GC contenders have made it to the front. It's whether they keep on going. So this group looks as if it's swelled to about 50-60 riders.
Yeah, indeed. There is method in their madness. Peter Sagan is embedded in there. You can't quite see him at the moment, but he's in about position 8. They're all looking over their shoulders because they want to know what the gap is. They're on the radio to find out who's been caught out. As you start to look down this group right now, Peter Sagan is just out of your screen. He'll bob in a moment. There he is. wearing number 31, I believe, 51, I beg your pardon, over that side of the road. So this is a handy group with a lot of firepower on board. Will they work together? That's the point. Because they've caught out quite a bit of talent further behind them, Brian. It's a group of, what would you say, 45 riders?
Yeah, it's a large enough group. It's like you say, it's whether they want to push on. I know that Sunweb want to push on. A smaller group is easier to manage than a larger group. As more incidents happen in a bigger group. Just looking around, Greg Van Avermaet is there for sure. Wellens is there. Tom Dumoulin, the race leader, Stefan Kongs, Pira Sagan, Seb Van Mark. So there's a number of important riders in this group of about 50 riders. A couple of Katusha riders down towards the back. It looks as if they only have 2 riders in this front group. Trek Segafredo are represented. Quick Step Floors are also represented in this front group, but it's whether you want to push on the tempo at the front, and only 2 teams willing to do that, and that's Sunweb at the front with Roy Curvers, and then you've got the red of Lotto Soudal.
I'm just looking through this bunch right now. I'm sort of reminding myself of who may or may not have made it. I can't see anyone from Astana who's got over here. I keep searching, but I can't see any of the pale blue, and that would be a nightmare for them. Incidentally, we have coverage tomorrow morning of there are 2, beg your pardon, the Astana Criterium, where Chris Froome will basically circulate around a park, the centre of Astana, basically showing off the Tour de France jersey, I believe. It's, the Saitama, or the Saitama Criterium that used to be in Japan, that's moved to China. There's a series of them now out in the Far East that the ASO are essentially displaying the greats of cycling. And so Chris Froome has decided to head over there. It's the sort of thing where he does a little bit of sumo. Well, obviously. I wonder if he's going to be picking up a headless calf from a horseback. I very much doubt it. But anyway, you get the drift. It's a big PR exercise, but it should be fun tomorrow morning. What on earth I'm talking about? It's an eternal question. 40.3 kilometres then from home, and minute and 18. The second group have been divorced, Brian, and they're 30 seconds in arrears. That doesn't sound like much, but at this sort of pace, that's quite a lot.
Yeah, we're just coming into the finish now. This is the entrance to the circuit. The riders will swing right, and then they'll swing left, go all the way around the outside of the circuit and back through the finishing line and out the other side to do another lap of 38.8 kilometres.
So there they are, we swing right. We take this 90 degree. This is round the edge of the Tom Dumoulin bike park, which has got nice long grass for anyone suffering from allergies to get themselves used to the summer. I don't know why that hasn't been cut down, to be honest, but anyway, it's probably ornamental. It's a shame we haven't got the helicopter view here. I think we will when the peloton come through, so you'll see the infield that they've decided not to use. A few swoops and bends for them to play with on a weekly basis. Come along here, pay your money. It's not very much apparently. It includes a free bowl of stomp on. And indeed a picture of Tom Dumoulin, but the signature is actually printed, but we'll let it on. So that will be 400 metres from the line when they come back. They don't quite get there, but here we are. They will go beyond, in fact, I beg your pardon. So this will be your finish line a little later. I'm glad they've stripped out all of those 90 degree and some silly curves, Brian. It was too much to expect at racing pace.
Yeah, I think it was. And I think they wanted to try and show off Tom Dumoulin's circuit, but I think it's a little bit easier now for everybody to enjoy.
There we are. You see those little loops and climbs in the centre of it. It's a nice idea and a great use of a slag heap. But they've decided not to use the middle bit and keep it a bit more sensible. That's the, by the way, Fortuna Città, as it used to be called, but this is Essent Fortuna. By the way, our finish today, not the bike park, you understand, but our finish town of Città, Gilin, has been in this race throughout all its incarnations since '95 when we started. So it is the eternal place, and Tom Dumoulin heading by part of the track has been named after him, a training track, with some climbs. It reflects the locale very well, actually, Brian.
Yeah, this, and just to bring you up to speed, last year Sitter Galeen was a team time trial won by BMC. 2015 it was Johan Labon in a different type of finish, and Van Kersbroek won in 2014, and then back in 2013 it was a time trial where Chabanel won.
We had a Van Avermaet lookalike there. Well, he's got the same kit and the same number, but he's about twice the height by the look of it inside of the road, so I'm worried for a moment there. Here we are, and if you've got the leader's jersey, you've got to work for it, Brian.
Yeah, it looks as if he was in the front group, so I can only imagine that there's been a mechanical problem for Stefan Kung out of our pictures, because the second group in the road led by Mark McNally from Wanty Group Gobert, Ron Potter also missed out there, because I definitely seen Stefan Kung in that front group, so unfortunately it looks as if he's had a puncture, maybe a neutral service change, and he's now having to go back to the second group now.
Well, interestingly as well, Brian, he's got teammates back here, but they don't seem motivated to help out. They're all tuckered out as we stand, and those out front, including Greg Van Avermaet, are not going to go back for Stefan Kung, so it looks like the leader's jersey is going away from him for the time being. I guess the efforts he puts in right now, it will be near heroic if he manages to get back in. It's a lonesome figure for the leader of the race. Stefan Kung has found himself in no man's land. He is desperately fighting to keep hold of that leader's jersey. The two teammates he's got in front of him, including Greg Van Avermaet, will not be coming back for him, I'm afraid. And that is a whole load of hurt that the leader of this race has got for himself. As you just get finally a view from the air of the Tom Dumoulin cycle park. What a shame for Stefan Kung.
Yeah, terrible shame. Definitely seen him right towards the front and over the top of the climb when Sunweb came to the front, so I can only imagine he's had a bit of a mechanical, and he's changed that and trying to come back to the front group. But teams of Wanty Group Gobert in the blue, Rompot in the orange, and also Team Dimension Data have missed out here, and they're the teams chasing behind.
Well, just looking at the camera bike is staying with him, so at least that's giving him an accidental assist here. He's working very hard, Brian. I'm actually wondering whether it wouldn't be wise for him to come back, because there's some urgent causes amongst that group, and he's holding, what, 4 seconds at the moment, but he's burning himself out.
Yeah, he is. He's
got a couple of teammates
in
back
panic mode at the moment, and I think there needs to become a call that he sets up. There's no point burning all your energy sitting 5 seconds in front of the group behind. Try and use that group behind. It's only a matter of 30 odd seconds, so it's still a possibility if they do get organised, which looks as if there are a few teams willing to ride, plus a couple of his teammates. He could possibly bring back this group, but when you say that, you look at Sunweb and Lotto Soudal. They are keeping the pressure on. Roy Curvis at the front, a grimace from riders in second place there, but both groups are riding full gas at the moment. But I think he needs a little bit of help, and just to say that Ron Pot just come past.
Yeah, he needs some advice, really. Ron Pot bridge over to him, and so Stefan Kung, leader of this race, wearing the green and black, green and black of our leader's jersey. Finally, he gets at least some respite from his task. I'm surprised his teammates haven't actually driven on up through the group to help him out. I suspect that's what they'll be required to do, but everyone's at the end.
What's happening.
Exactly, everyone's at the end of their resources as well, Brian.
The thing is, he's had a puncture. He's been given a wheel by one of his teammates. I think it was Michael Shah, and Michael Shah is having to wait to get back. He's trying to get back on at the moment to the second group. So once Michael Shah gets back, then they'll start to ride hard in the front. The gap is still only about 30 odd seconds, and if there is a lull in the action, then they can possibly make it back on. Sunweb in the left-hand picture have kind of knocked off a little bit, leaving up to the red jerseys of Lotto Soudal. Cannondale are up towards the front as well, so at least Sunweb have kind of knocked it off a little bit, but the gap's still increasing, 37 seconds. They need to try and shut this down quickly. Unfortunately for the race reader, that puncture came at exactly the wrong time, but they can still try and make some amends to this.
Well, he's got a teammate working for him right now, as Stefan Kung, but I'm afraid he's got other principals that have got now a better chance by the looks of things on today. And let's have a look.
That's Michael Shar, I think he gave his wing to him.
Yeah. So there we are. We were wondering what the walk by was. But I actually thought, I was actually speculating he might even be a member of the public, but there we are. It was Michael Shar who handed over his wheel, and there is the moment. So back into the gloom and the darkness, and what have we got here? We're just coming through Deutschland. These guys are going over Battersley. That's the short one, but what are they? 56 seconds back. We've got Bergstrasse coming up in 2K's time. That's 700 metres and 4%. And then we have Schatzberg. Careful how you say that one. 800 metres at 5%. So we're going to take ourselves a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back for Bergstraat for our break, and indeed the pack coming through. And fingers crossed for Stephen Kung, who's been working hard. He's got a teammate on the nose right now. This is the chase group you're looking at. Back in a moment.
What is this place?
The modern software factory, a hub of digital transformation.
Is this where we come to compete?
This is what you build to compete, where insight drives experience, where automation delivers better apps faster, where agile isn't just a buzzword, it's a way of life.
What about security?
Strong, yet frictionless. All working together at scale. It's about moving to new from old.
Oh, that's not right. I'll put mine back on.
Switch off your phone. Shut down your tablet. Log out of social media. Stop trying to find the perfect filter. With urban agility and four-wheel drive ability, escape your virtual life with the new Mitsubishi ASX, now with a £2,000 deposit contribution.
The Brownlee brothers are the most competitive brothers in the world. If Johnny Brownlee could have beaten these award-winning summer products his brother got from Aldi, he would. But because he couldn't, he has to take one for the team. Win gold with Aldi's amazing award winners.
Lisa, you're on EE, so you're being upgraded. To EE class, where we will be cruising at an altitude of 6 free months of Apple Music. Just our way of showing you the love.
Can I get free Apple Music too?
Of course, Duncan. And when you stream or download all those banging tunes, the data's on us.
Shaken or stirred, sir?
Just give me a little mix.
You've got the music and the data, but buckle up. There's a storm.
Z coming!
EE customers get 6 free months of Apple Music. With thousands of UK GPs in our smart network, you could see a doctor in 6 minutes. On any device.
Your prescription is ready.
9 out of 10 people get the help they need first time. Push Doctor. The wait is over.
At Booking.com, you'll find a wide range of accommodation. From sun-drenched holidays to weekend getaways. For every possible budget. And if you have to cancel, cancel. Most of the time it's free. And you can always book again. Booking.com, booking.yeah.
Lotte Sedal doing a great job of chasing down the break as we stand. It's more separating themselves from the pursuers. And BMC in the second peloton, as it's being called here. We've just taken a very brief visit to Germany, by the way. It wasn't too far. The border just loops nearby. So you can swap your stop pot for sauerkraut momentarily and then back again. Meanwhile, the gap to the break is now 39 seconds. And as you can see as well, it's sort of holding at around about the 30-second mark between the two halves of what was the original peloton. So one's being driven on by Lotte Sedal in the red and white, and the other is fires being put out at the moment by BMC in the red and black. So this is out front. And indeed, this is that quality group that contains Van Mark, contains Van Avermaet for BMC, teammate of the now stricken Stefan Kung, who had a technical, took a wheel from Michael Shah, and in fact has got himself back into that group, the second group, but is struggling, as they all are, to match the pace of these guys. Lotto Soudal with Andre Greipel at the heart of them right now is still keeping the pace up. And I think this is a free ride for Tom Dumoulin and Sunweb as we speak. Camera pulls back, and then we see the chasers. This is great stuff, Brian. It's a lively day.
Yeah, Sunweb with the team that kicked this off. Unfortunately for Kung, he punctured in the Tom Dumoulin race circuit, wheel by Shah, and now his team are trying to bring him back. He did panic ever so slightly, trying to come across on his own, but he's sitting third wheel. The gap is coming down ever so slightly. But this is going to be a hard chase. It does look as if they've got a little bit of help. Katusha willing to do swap a couple of turns. There were some other teams, Monte Group, Goubert, Rompot, willing to help, but that looks as if they're kind of sitting a little bit further back now. But in the front group, it seems as if it's only Lotto Soudal in the red looking after Wellens. That are the only team willing to keep the pressure on. But it does look as if this gap is slightly narrow now, and they could possibly come back together again.
Well, it's good news for Stefan Kung. I suggest it might not be great news for Greg Van Avermaet, who would have had a free hand. Whether he's going to be on protecting duties for Stefan Kung, I think possibly it may well. Pendulum within BMC will have swung towards Greg Van Avermaet. It's probably the better bet over these next 3 days. No disrespect to the young Swiss who's led this race with such distinction. 29 kilometres to go then, and 36 seconds is listed the peloton as one, and they're about to come back together, Brian. That's been hard work, and a lot of it's been done by BMC.
Yeah, it is, but towards the front group, Sunweb are starting to push on a little bit as well, but you can just see the difference now with the two groups. A little bit more bunching in the front, and this second group all lined out with Van Hooijdonk, Drucker, Quinziato, Kung all towards the front, drilling hard.
Yep, they are. Just looking to see who's involved here. One man to watch out for today, by the way, as we head in, to my mind anyway, is Bert van Lerberger. He's had some amazing runs in the Napoleon Cup Championship, which goes on between the borders of Belgium and the Netherlands, Northern France as well. It's got some great races, and they've sort of taken some of the sort of minor classics and put them all together. Like the Dois d'Or, like the Samin, plenty of others as well. And it keeps racing for alive, if you like, for some of those who are not World Tour teams. When they come and play with the big boys, they can have some great performances. We've seen a few of those, to be fair, over the last few days. And it's been a pleasure to watch them sort of strutting their stuff, as it were. And today, you may well get some surprises, we'll see, but the way it's shaping up right now, oh dear, the brake's arguing with itself. Come on, let's do a bit of work, and it's Elmar Reinders who's issuing the instructions, as it were, and having a good old chat. He drifts back to Pierre Allegaert, who's stucking on the back, but it looks like this group now has indeed decided that it's cooked. Just under 28 kilometres to go of today. Oilersbeek is where we're heading to next, and it will be the Schatzberg with 17 k's remaining. So for the time being, we've got 10 kilometres now of wide open highway, and I think the two halves of the peloton will come back together. This group is more bunched, as you can see. Sunweb not minded to push on too hard, knowing that those in the second group, Brian, have had to work very hard. I think they'll accept that there's going to be a physical deficit for the chasers that they can take advantage of a little bit later.
Yeah, it's the hard chase now from the second group. It does look as if they're getting slightly nearer. All the red jerseys of BMC towards the front, looking after their leader, sitting fourth place. Also, Katusha obviously missed out here and willing to do a bit of chasing, which is going to help. Initially, it was Wanty Group, Goubert, Rompot and Team Dimension Data. there's the visual. They're just in front, but you can only imagine the amount of energy the front group that's sitting behind Sunweb and Lotto Total are just saving energy, while other teams trying to chase them back in the second group are expending a lot of energy, which is not going to be good for the running. But they know this circuit, they've been on this circuit, they know the key points to this circuit. When on that small narrow road, when Sunweb went over the top of the climb, I think that's going to happen again this time. But everybody will know it's going to happen because it happened previously, and so that'll be the key moment to today's stage, that climb, and it's over the top of the climb.
We may well, when the groups come together, and I think they're going to, both the split and the peloton, which is nearly healed, as you can see. Still some work to do, but more bunched ahead, far more strung out with the chase. And by the demeanour of the breakaway, Brian, they clearly lost a bit of heart, or a little bit of drive anyway. Let's see how they take this. Nobody tempted to go all the way round the roundabout, but yet again, that elevated pedestrian section at the crossing in the middle of the road, causing havoc. Pennant man busy waving. We've seen a few tumbles so far today. A little bit of bunny hopping over the centre, just to sort of give an easier entry into this roundabout, and then the exit from it. And they've gone puppy paws up front, as you can see, so they're tapping right now, keeping a decent tempo, but it's not full on and motivated, unlike the chase. So I think this is going to come back together. It may well be you get some sub-attacks coming out of this group. Oscar Gatto, by the way, is in that group. It's his kind of day, this, where everyone else is being forced to either chase or indeed impose themselves. He's the sort of rider who can suddenly pop out and do something. He's not the only one. There'll be some ambition displayed late on, I think.
Yeah, the critical point is the same point in the circuit as last time when Sunweb came to the front and over the top. It's split into about 5 or 6 groups. That'll be the key point that everybody will know they have to be at the front. This gap is still not closed, but there's so many passengers in this front group. Everybody's sitting back, allowing the team of Sunweb and Lotto Soudal to keep the pressure on. This second group coming into the roundabout here, they've still got a 15-20 second gap to close, but all the time it's closing to the group in front. 22 seconds to the 7 riders in front of Bakoch, Beermans, Hepburn, McDonough, Allegert, Reinders and Van Melsen. But I tell you what, Carlton, we've seen the Golden Kilometre. It hasn't really come into play for the GC contenders, but today could be the day. It kicks off in about 8 kilometres time, and 20 seconds with the firepower in this group looking for seconds. It could help the likes of Peres Sagan, and he's got a couple of teammates there. Do they sit back and wait, which I think they do, to try and help him on the finish, or do they come up now and try and help and bring this together so they can take the bonus points to try and take the leader's jersey?
Well, we may well squeeze in a commercial break before we get to the Schatzberg, which is with 17.4 kilometres to go. Then we've got the Golden Kilometre immediately after that, which could be important. I think they're going to race for it today, and so you're going to see the likes of Sagan, etc., really gunning for it with the Binckbank Golden Kilo. This is that little hiatus before the storm we've got right now. We'll be climbing the Schatzberg at 17.4 to go, so that's in about 6 kilometres time. Wide open countryside at the moment. It looks like these two major parts of the peloton are going to re-amalgamate, and then I think it's going to be all together, and all hell's going to break loose on the approach to the Schatzberg, right?
Yeah, very much looks like that. The two groups getting very close together now, and the group in front coming further back. So in the next few kilometres, it looks as if all the race could come back together again.
Wow. And then it's going to be a huge punch-up for the Golden Kilometre. Can't wait. Well, they're all starting to tire, as you can see. Some of those who've worked so hard to close down that gap on behalf of Kuhn. We'll take that break, and we'll be back as the skirmishes begin in a moment.
The
modern software factory, a hub of digital transformation.
Is this where we come to compete?
This is what you build to compete, where insight drives experience, where automation delivers better apps faster, where agile isn't just a buzzword, it's a way of life.
What about security?
Strong, yet frictionless. All working together at scale. It's about moving to new from old.
Oh, that's not right. I'll put mine back on.
Bora, the revolution continues. Extracting vapors without a cooker hood. Effective and silent.
I love this cooking revolution. That's Bora.
Gale warning issued 204.
Hey, Mike, avoid this low pressure. Last known coordinates 02345.
This is Rescue 1, ETA 4 minutes.
WeBuyAnyCar.com could be bonkers. They want me to say on telly that if you put up with the hassle of selling your car privately, you could get more money for it. But if you sell with WeBuy, you get to save time and avoid the hassle. Actually, they're not bonkers. It makes a lot of sense. Value your time? Enter your reg number now at WeBuyAnyCar.com, the UK's favourite car buying service.
Your odds from William Hill lets you create and bet on your own markets. Tweet us direct from the William Hill app or from Twitter, and we'll reply with the odds. Join over 200,000 Your Odds customers and view their markets. Spot something you like? One click, it's in your bet slip, and you're on. More markets, more choice, more control. William Hill. This is more.
This could be a heartbreak moment. Working so hard. Michael Shah, we've just seen Van Hooydonk as well, who's emptied the tanks to get Stefan Kung back into this group. But look at the rolling attacks that are coming straight back off. As soon as they get back in, then this had to happen. And in fact, it's AG Tour Le Mondial that have decided to go for it off the front. I thought that Sunweb might actually be motivated as well. You rejoin us just as we start the approach towards the Schatzberg. Now, we're not there yet. We've got 3 kilometres to go, but such is the urgency. Why? Well, it's not to catch the break. It's basically to be in a good position to take on the climb and then do the golden kilometre, Brian. That kilometre offers up 3 separate sprints. Each one will give you bonus seconds of 3 every time you hit it. There's 9 seconds up for grabs. Could prove crucial.
Yeah, it could do. But we still have a couple of riders still in front. And that's Michael Hepburn and Peter Vakoc in the blue here. It was Hepburn they attacked the breakaway about 2 kilometres ago from Orica Scott, and then Peter Vakoc joined them. So you've got 2 riders in front, and then you've got an attack here from AG2R. I think the peloton are happy to pretty much almost let this rider go. I think it's the Gujart. It's now on the attack for AG2R. And if he gets up, then they'll snaffle up all the bonus seconds, because I don't think the GC contenders really want to get involved with this golden kilometre.
Well, some might, but frankly, it will get very, very sketchy. We'll see how it pans out. So you've got 3 up the road, you've got the peloton all back together, albeit some, I'm afraid, have emptied themselves. Not least Michael Shah, and I think it was Van Hooydonk as well, who worked so hard for Stefan Kung. His back race needs to be the leader, but I think the efforts he's put in today, it's going to be a struggle for him to actually stay in touch. Here's Peter Vakoc, who's allowing the likes of Nicky Terpstra, Yves Lampaert and Philippe Gilbert of Quick Step Floors not to have to do too much work behind. He's with, excuse me, Michael Hepburn of Orica Scott as well, and they're checking over their shoulders to see how far back Gougiar is. And in fact, it looks like the peloton have declared a minor truce at the moment. The gap's back out to 25.
Yeah, they've sat up ever so slightly because the two groups, just naturally, the two groups have come together. And Cannondale now take control of the front of the group. We all know what's coming up. We've already seen it the lap before, and everybody knows that over the top of this next climb, when it's split into about 5 or 6 different groups, that's the key element. But there's a lot of teams that have used a bit of their firepower already, and they'll be depleted, especially BMC. So it will be about the right combination if it does go towards the finish. But I'm sure that it's going to be a very interesting finish, as we see Gougiar still trying to make it up to the duo in front of Hepburn and Bakoch.
Bless him. I'm not sure he's going to make it because they look reasonably motivated, not least to take some bonus seconds and indeed the prize money therein. They might even stay up for the Primus, which comes with 8.2 kilometres to go. 24 seconds and hovering around that marker, as you can see. I wonder if somebody's going to be tempted to have a proper dig and just pull off the front. Unlikely to make up 24, I wouldn't have thought, so not that far off half a minute in what, 1800 metres time before we actually get to that 1700 now. That intermediate sprint, the golden kilometre. I was getting rather excited about it, Brian, but it looks like it might well be quite benign.
I don't think if as a GC contender sitting in this group, I don't think I want to be forced into sprinting 3 times within a kilometre. So the importance here is positioning, and that's why we're starting to see the teams riding on the front. It isn't to bring these riders back, it's just about positioning. Okay, if the riders come back, so be it, but I think it's just they know what's happened the previous lap, and they want to try and stay towards the front as the road starts to get a little bit more narrow or further up.
Just a suggestion there. I thought bright sunshine, but looking at the shadows, it's not. Adjusting of the retina of the camera here, and a suggestion as well. The odds little spit and spot of rain. 17.4 k's. Then they are 900 metres right now from this intermediate sprint, the golden kilo, which is 3 sprints locked into the length of 1 kilometre. When it's nicely placed, I must admit, with 16.4 kilometres to go, so it has been of greater importance, and the gap's now down to 16 seconds to the peloton, and it looks like Gougiar's task, I'm afraid, has come to naught, and it's because they're speeding up, Brian, for road position coming into this very narrow climb.
Yeah, I think it is positioned well with the golden kilometre. Maybe in the sprint stages it might be positioned a little bit earlier on in the stage, maybe within the first 50 kilometres. That would get them to kind of race a little bit, because I think that's what they're trying to do, and entice people, riders to race. And on a hillier day, a GC day like this, then having it late could have it come into play. It really depends on Gougiar here. If Gougiar comes across, then all the bonuses will be away, but only 17 seconds. I do not think that the GC riders will want to play with this. All Bora Hansgrohe are doing is looking after Pires Sagan. I don't think they're thinking of the seconds, but if Gougiar is taken back, then Sagan might think about trying to snaffle up these 3 seconds that are on offer now.
It's terrific. It's big barns there. They're your sort of barn eggs. It's a touchy subject at the moment in the Netherlands.
An attack from the peloton, sorry, Carrington.
Here we go, yeah, indeed.
Attack from the peloton, so Gougiar is still away, but Bakoch takes the first golden kilometre points from Hepburn, but another attack from the peloton just coming into view.
Let's have a look. Just about to show. Can't see who it is. And it's surely it's not Gatto. Is he going to go long? I suggested that it may well be somebody of that ilk. We'll wait until we get back downstairs.
Michael Valgren is on the attack. The Wellens is on the attack as well now. So Lotto Soudal was starting to play the card in the general classification. No big reaction from Bora Hansgrohe. They just want to keep a tempo up. But it was Michael Valgren that took that 1 second there from Gougiar. But Tim Wellens now coming into play.
Well, he's had a good run, Valgren. 6 in the E3 and 11th in Flanders. He's the sort of guy who can roll with it when he needs to, and quite frankly, right now, perhaps he does. Valgren then is embedding himself in the task. who's going to be tempted to join them? That's the big question. So 15.7 kilometres to go. We're busy with this golden kilometre. All seconds count at a moment such as this, and others being tempted to join the fun.
Yeah, Burkhardt really riding hard at the front. He doesn't want these danger riders to go away, and that's why Bora Hansgrohe are pushing hard. I don't think there's too much danger here because Vakoc is taking the bonuses away. There's only 1 second for third place, but Valgren took the first one. And it looks as if Wellens is going to take a second here, so previous winner of this race taking a second back. But I don't think Bora Hansgrohe will be too worried about it. They have got numbers in the front, and they're thinking more of the finish than anything else.
Yeah, just looking back, Wellens, Valgren and Alex Gougiard are chasing group as we stand right now. This is too much quality to be allowed up the road with only 14.9 kilometres to go. And they're regrouping themselves, as you can see. 15 seconds is the gap to the two principals up the road. Peter Vakoc has had a very, very strong day today. Meanwhile, big compression coming up right now. Surely nobody's going to dive bomb up the inside, and indeed they keep it sensible. 4 wide coming in, 2 wide going out. It's squeezing the toothpaste, as it were, onto one of these country roads. Fractured on the left-hand side in the woodland, by the way, so you have to take great care as you come out of Put. This is not one of our climbs, but look how nasty it is, and it begs, I'm afraid, punctures, and that's precisely what we're seeing right now amongst the Verandas Willems boys. Didn't quite catch who it was. Wout van Aert, their principal. It looked like it was urgent enough to involve him. 14.2 k's from home then, and let's have a look, and indeed it does. There's Wout van Aert, and the man corrupting his bike is Stein de Volder.
Yeah, De Volder is the one with the puncture, so it looks like Wout van Aert giving his wheel around to him.
I thought it was the other way round, but I'll bow to you, Brian, which takes some doing because you're shorter than me. 13.9 k's from home then, and on one of these little sinuous descents where we've seen others get caught out. They sort of hold on to the moisture, but they're through safely, thankfully. Vakoc and Hepburn still out front with 13.7 kilometres remaining. Next climb is the Stammen, the Weg Langstammen, 350 metres, but 8%, Brian. This is that testy one. In terms of incline, it's the worst that they've faced today, other than the Coburg, which came very, very early. Sad that that wasn't part of our broadcast today, but you can't have everything. These guys, they might have everything in their hands right now. These 5 would be a fighting force, but it's not much of a gap with 13.3 to go, Brian.
No, they're just the two in front of Vakoc and Hepburn are just about to be joined by Gougiard, Valgren and Tim Wellens to make it 5. This is the crucial point coming up. It's narrow here, the pace is on. Bora Hansgrohe know that they don't want any of these riders to gain any seconds today. It is a dangerous move here by Tim Wellens, and yeah, that's why they're riding towards the front, and it's over the top of this climb on the previous lap that all hell let loose.
Well, let's see those behind. It's 12.8 to go. If it gets sketchy behind, and it may well be, look how they're bunched together, Brian. Everyone wants a piece of this road. There's not much on offer.
Yeah, this is what happens. It doesn't matter if a team is riding. Everybody knows what happened the previous lap, so they're moving up, and they want to be at the front. But we're on the climb. We go down a little bit, and then we start going up again.
Well, Vegland Stammen and Wellens, who had a great Tour de France, of course, is just embedding himself right now, staying with him. Michael Valgren digging in for glory. I think this group may well, I know it's a long way out, may well have a great chance of making it. Look how motivated they are behind, however. Almost immediately responding. They're charging into this one. It's a virtual uphill sprint as they go for it. And it's AG Tour Le Mondial, and I think that is out of the saddle as well. Looks like Dylan Van Baal, is it? We'll have a look in a moment. May well be.
Hepburn's gone, Carlton, and it's Jan Bakeland's trying to come across for AG2R. He's the rider they attacked on us at this climb to try and come across his teammate in front.
Great stuff. 12.2 k's remaining, and it's a quartet of talent that's just extricated itself from that group. Lars Bohm as well. We thought that perhaps it may well be his sort of day today with Lotto Jumbo. They've got options, but look at how it's split up, and Sunweb have lost out here.
Yes, Van Mark has come across with Bowman de Moulin. You can just see the group being led by the blue jersey of Pires Sagan. So Pires Sagan makes contact with the front, but pretty handy front group here of about 15, 16 riders.
Yeah, it doesn't look like much, but watch the braking here as they turn into it. And in fact, they're shedding impetus while the others are breaking away off that turn. It's not just the climb, it's the hairpin as well. Tom Dumoulin was indeed there with 11.7 kilometres to go. That's a sharp turn. And right now we're at the sharp end. Next up, it will be at 8.2 kilometres, the Binckbank. So time to make amends, I think you might say. Oh, and a tumble. Didn't quite see who it is. It's on the exit, Brian, as they spit out to the far side of the road.
Yeah, I just saw it coming round the corner. One of the Lotto Soudal riders hits the deck. Takes one out. So he was well towards the fore there, but unfortunately he got caught out.
Ouch. Well, we said about that turn, it's a nasty one. If you try to carry too much impetus into it, then you can come a cropper. And I'm afraid that's exactly what's happened to Chase Benut. And he's a long time getting up. He says he's all right, but he just wants to be left alone to figure it out for himself. Not his day today then, but I'm afraid that's the way it goes. Here is Tom Dumoulin just coming up towards the fore and going into time trial mode. His question that he'll be asking himself is, who am I bringing in to consideration? Is that Bram Tankink who's got himself up towards the fore? Seb Van Mark is in the fray. They're doing a fantastic job of it at the moment. Dumoulin didn't just put his hand up. Has he got an issue? He's gone to the back of this group. If that's the case, that's an absolute nightmare. Couldn't quite see whether he was reaching. Caught a glimpse of it. And look at this; it's fractured completely. This is a group of 20 following, and others playing catch up as we speak. There'll be a few of these teams, Brian, who've got an excuse not to fight.
Yeah, you can just see BMC with Stefan Kung trying to kind of push on a little bit now. But yeah, gaps all over the place as we see Stefan Kung now. And he's actually in the third group in the road. So we've got Sagan's group, we've got a group just in front, and Stefan Kung here in the third group. I think just about to make contact with the group in the third group. I think just about to make contact with the group in here in the third group. I think just to make strong group now formed at the front of this race.
8.8 kilometres then from home. We've got the Binckbank coming up, as well as a Primus. I don't think the Primus is going to be of any concern to them, but the Binckbank most certainly will be. They'll finish with all their climbing, Brian. Once we get to 6.8 kilometres, the next 2 Ks have 2 climbs within them. The first is the Binckbank, just after the Primus checkpoint. In fact, it's on it. That'll be 700 metres with 4.5%. And then the Battersley, 400 metres at 4% to bring them home. 8.4 remaining. Good conditions, as you can see, particularly for these guys. And out front, this has got to be a happy place, and it'll be a happy hunting ground, I'm certain, for this group right now. 8.2 Ks from home, and they're stretching their legs. And look, I think there's been has there been an acceptance? Looking at the chasers at the moment, BMC trying to put a fire out right now. But there is the Belgian champion. I think he's got to have a good option today, but with the likes of Sagan embedded here, Oscar Gatto is part of that group as well. Saw Michael Balker a little bit earlier on. They're stretching themselves. What about Lars Bohm today?
Yeah, we just come to the front. He wants to push on. It looks as if one of the, I think it's Gouchard is now gone now. So we have got Sagan in the front group. Boom, Dumoulin, Sutherland, Bakelans, Van Mark is there for Cannondale. Stuyven is there for Trek Segafredo. Vakoc is still hanging in there for Quick-Step. Van Poppel there for Team Sky. Nason, the Belgian champion. Wellens for Lotto Soudal, and Valgren, I think, is still there for Astana.
Well, they're rolling with the punches at the moment, and Van Mark just rolls through. He's had so much bad luck throughout his career. I kind of feel that his ill fortune today is the fact that he's alongside the likes of Sagan, and he's just drifting over to the side of the road, just getting a personnel check within this group with 7.4 to go. Riders don't know everything, but well, we'll see. At least he now knows what he's got to deal with. This is looking very good for Peter Sagan today.
There is a couple of riders trying to come across now. Is that Greg Van Avermaet? Looks as if he's trying to make his way across, but we've still got a large peloton, about 50-60 riders. Sagan still at the front, but there's no real pressure on because the riders are kind of looking behind. I think there's too many strong riders in this front group. They don't want to help each other. They don't want to drag each other to the finish. And I think it's a matter of they don't want to ride with each other, and this is taking impetus out the front of the race, which means that some riders could actually make it across. And we're just looking behind. You've got Philip Gilbert is trying to come across for Quick-Step. One rider from Orica Scott, and I believe BMC, and I think it could be Greg Van Avermaet with another rider from Lotto Soudal possibly.
6.6 from home. We've got the Vatersley in the next 200 metres. They'll be there as we come past the old seminary. Here's your turn. The way that Peter Sagan turned on the power a few moments ago, he basically doesn't want to be anyone's fool. So he's embedded here in position 3, as you can see, just on the back wheel of Sepp Van Mark. This is Tom Dumoulin, who's riding towards his own velo park, essentially, as we speak. Can't quite see who it is from Astana. It was Michael Valgren earlier on, and Peter Sagan goes again. He's having a last dig on the last climb of the day and decides to go on. Now, I think this will be hyper-motivated. The motorcycle tries to pull away. He's got 4 or 5 bike lengths already, and he has a look over his shoulder. I don't know whether he's just upsetting the tempo. He's probably got good options if it comes down to a sprint, but he's clearly not happy with those riders around him, Brian.
Yeah, too many passengers. There's a few people just wanted to sit on the back. Too many of the top GC contenders in one group, and it's not working for them. So it's going to be interesting this last 6 kilometres to see if they will work. Tom Dumoulin came to the front in that incline there. He wants to keep the pressure on, but so many riders do not in this front group.
5.5 kilometres, and Peter Sagan keeps the hurt on. If they want to win it, they're going to have to work extremely hard, and Sagan looks the freshest of everybody at the moment. Big turn coming up right now, 5.4 out. I guess at least he's making them work, Brian, and he seems to be riding well within himself, and now it'll recoagulate, if you like, and then he'll go again, you can be sure.
Yeah, he's a racer, and he'll continue racing. He doesn't want to drag riders towards the line. We're just looking back now. This gap looks as if it's about almost 30 seconds. Stuyven pushing hard in the front. Just looking to see who has actually made it up. Greg Van Avermaet is there, so he's made it to the front group. Philip Gilbert is there. I think it's Kukeler, and Andre Greipo has made it to the front group.
Wow, well, don't bet against a fast man today. Still can't see who it is. I think Valgren for Astana within this group as well. What have we got? A rack of 12, 14 riders who are going to duke it out today. 20 seconds, but with 4.7 kilometres to go. And indeed, the sort of pace that we have right now, I think they may well carry it all the way. Lots of checking over shoulders going on.
16 riders. Bakelans and Stuyven are in the front here, but just behind them you've got Sagan, Boom, Dumoulin, Sutherland, Van Mark, Vakoc, Van Poppel, Nason, Wellens, Valgren, Gilbert, Kukeler, Greg Van Avermaet and Andre Greipo.
Gosh, look at them, they don't want to work together. They've done the job of catching the pair up front all bar, and right now nobody wants to push on. Peter Sagan flicks the elbow out as well, out of focus as you can see, and he's looking at Greg Van Avermaet and saying, come on, help out for goodness sake, I'm not going to guide you all the way in. And Greg decides that the efforts of having gone into this very select group, he needs to just preserve himself ever so slightly, and Peter Sagan is being lent on within this group, and he doesn't like it at all, but then again, that's the eternal story for him.
It is. It does look as if Tim Wellens wants to keep the pressure on. I think that the riders that don't have a sprint here, they have to push on. They don't want to give anybody any advantage. They don't want to give Stuyven or Bakelans any seconds whatsoever. So the likes of Dumoulin, Tim Wellens, keep the pressure on. You're not going to get rid of all of the sprinters because there's some quality sprinters in this front group. But it does look as if this jersey here could be changing hands at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think so. 3.5 kilometres to go. So on the approach, you've seen it, they've seen it. It's into the Tom Dumoulin velodrome. And I don't think Tom Dumoulin is going to have the glory, I'm afraid, of coming home first today. They've worked extremely hard, not least Vakoc has been up the road for much of the day, Brian.
Yeah, Vakoc is trying again to close this gap.
Can't help
He's
himself.
got Gilbert there, so there are two riders from Quickstep in this front group now. So Stuyven at the front with Bakelans, Vakoc trying to come across, Wellens is there, Sagan is astute to this, but so many riders still sitting in the wheels, not willing to help this chase.
Well, there we are. You can see Peter Sagan just embedded. He's now on the back wheel of Vakoc, I believe. There he is, indeed. Just behind is Stuyven, also very much involved within this group. 2.6 kilometres to go, forgive me. Here we are.
Sagan's closing the gap now. He's closing the gap. I think he really wants to take hold of this green jersey. He's already won 2 stages, but he's put himself in an opportunity of getting a 3rd stage. He just moves over to the left-hand side. Nason does not want to do anything. A lot of passengers at the back. And I think just watch out for Cannondale's Van Mark, because I think he could be a rider that wants to go on the attack very late now.
Well, he's in a good position overall, just trailing by around 30 seconds. Andre Greipel, you know, he said he hasn't got his head in the right place, but his legs are doing a great job today. And let's not forget the Sky Riders who are embedded here as well, Brian.
Yeah, you've got Danny Van Poppel, good stage 1 in the Tour of Poland recently, so on good form. But just as I said, Van Mark,
here he goes. He has to go long, 1900 metres out. Who's going to be tempted to go? Nobody, just for the time being. Change of tempo by Peter Sagan only, but Van Mark's on full attack right now. Can he do it all on his own? He sits up and says no. Answers his own question on this turn, but it's a technical one. He'll be pacing out of it, but Peter Sagan, I think, will come up and go over the top. Belgian champion Ollie Nason is lurking, and they've decided to go for this. And well, you know, some good riders here that can really impose themselves, and Lars Bohm is one of those, almost Sonic Bohm, I think they call him. 1500 metres to go. We're just approaching our velodrome right now. Peter Sagan might be moderately happy with the way this pans out if someone like Bohm takes it, because he'll be in the leader's jersey. Is he going to be motivated to go for another stage win? Peter Sagan's already got 2 under his belt, and it looks like it may well already have been decided, this.
Yeah, Lars Bohm is gone. He gone at the right point. Van Mark was dragged back by Peter Sagan. But when Boom won, it was one too many attacks. We come into the Tom Dumoulin Cycle Park, and Tim Wellens has to take it up because he's got Andre Greipel just behind him. But is he going to have enough in the legs to bring this man back? I think it's going to be very doubtful.
I think so. I think it's too much of a mighty task. Van Avermaet in there as well. Peter Sagan, I think, will be in the leader's jersey, so job done for him. He's already got a couple of stage wins here. And look at this, Lars Bohm. Well, he's a trackman of origin, let's not forget. And right now, he's just got to get his head down and TT for the last 500 metres.
Yeah, Tim Wellens trying hard as he can, but he's getting absolutely no help. He comes round one left-hander, another left-hander now, within sight of the finish.
Gosh, sketchy corner. You can see why they got rid of the squiggly bits in the middle, and it's all about catch-up for everybody else, but I'm afraid that Lars Bohm is going to track this one home. He knows it as well. He's already smiling. Lars Bohm, Sonic Bohm, delivers today, and it echoes around this velo park. What a great effort by him, and it's going to be minor places for everybody else. Van Avermaet would like some bonus seconds as well. So would Peter Sagan. They're going to duke it out, but boom, indeed, delivers. Peter Sagan coming home in second place, quick Van Avermaet, and the pack of talent that was they. And the clock ticks on everybody else, including the leader's jersey, which has already been handed over.
Yeah, an exciting finish, a good win by Lars Bohm and Lotto NL Jumbo. I think an attack at the right time. You could obviously see that Cannondale's rider Van Mark was set himself up for an attack in towards the circuits, and Sagan was very astute to that. He was straight on it. but Boom, when he went, I don't think he had the legs to just follow him at that particular time, as Viviani pulls his foot out in the sprint, continues to sprint with Dylan Groenewegen. So Dylan Groenewegen takes the bunch finish, but they have the day with Lars Boom.
They do indeed, and finishing 47 seconds down on Lars Bohm. What a great result it was for him, and here he is. Been a while.
Yeah, it has. It's a nice win and a well-timed win. I think anybody going on the attack there could have possibly have taken that one, but Groenewegen was struggling today a lot, and obviously Lars Boom got himself in there and attacked at the right time, because straight off the back of Van Mark, I think Sagan's legs were kind of on fire for a little bit there, and unfortunately there was absolutely no help whatsoever behind to try and bring Boom back. And Wellens tried, but he didn't have the legs in the end to try and help Andrew Greipel, and Greg Van Avermaet went for a long one, and Sagan just came round, taking the bonus of 6 seconds. But it was a good win by Lars Boom. You can see he's more than happy with that one.
I think so. Well, I don't know what that was all about. Lars, of course, took the Eneco, 5 years ago right now, and frustration, I think. It's so many missed opportunities of late, rising to the fore.
What is this place?
The modern software factory, a hub of digital transformation. Is this where we come to compete? This is what you build to compete, where insight drives experience, where automation delivers better apps faster, where agile isn't just a buzzword, it's a way of life.
What about security?
Strong, yet frictionless. All working together at scale. It's about moving to new from old.
Oh, that's not right. I'll put mine back on.
Introducing the Renault crossover range, featuring the all-new Koleos, Renault Kadjar, and new Captur. Renault crossover range, now with 3 years 0% APR representative and 2 years free servicing.
The Brownlee brothers are the most competitive brothers in the world. If Johnny Brownlee could have beaten these award-winning summer products his brother got from Aldi, he would. But because he couldn't, he has to take one for the team. Win gold with Aldi's amazing award winners.
RAC fix 4 out of 5 cars at the roadside on average in just 30 minutes. Get cover for just $34.99 at rac.co.uk.
Welcome back. Well, it's been 2 years since Lars Bohm has had a pro win, and about time too, I think, is what he was saying there, Brian.
Well, I'm not going to speculate what emotions were going through him as he crossed the line there, but I can see that he was, let's say, well pleased.
Yes, indeed. Just looking at them come home on this rather fine facility, I must say. I like the rises and falls of it. If you're going to rescape an industrial park, it looks like a great way to do it. It's a good job they took out those little climbs and the like. I think it would have been too sketchy late on, although, frankly, there would have been nothing to stop Lars Bohm. A cathartic moment for him. Indeed, the push on behind, as you can see, and Peter Sagan getting the bragging rights here, and also the leader's jersey in this race, Brian.
Yes, indeed. he didn't need the 6 seconds in the end because he had some time.
Here we go then. Lars Bohm, 3 seconds behind, came Peter Sagan, Greg Van Avermaet, Ollie Nason and Jesper Stuyven. Philippe Gilbert, Sepp van Mark also in the frame here. All of these guys will be well placed overall in the GC because of the splits that we had today. So the likes of Van Mark, Wellens, Van Poppel will be pleased with their work today. Overall, provisional general classification is that Lars Bohm, courtesy of his 10-second bonus and indeed his gap at the line, has got the lead today by a margin of 2 seconds, Brian. We'll wait for confirmation of that in a few moments' time, but just looking at Lars Bohm's deficit, he's done a job here.
Yeah, he started today 10 seconds
There we
bonus. So with the...
leads by 2.
Yep.
Wow, so apologies if we misguided you. Lars Bohm, I believe, just looking at the maths, has done it. Because 10 seconds bonus, 6-4 Sagan. We'll wait and see if the maths have actually panned out here properly. But provisionally at least, well, we'll see.
No, he started today 10 seconds, but I thought he finished, what, 2 seconds in front?
3 seconds.
3 seconds in front. So I think with the 10 seconds bonus, he started...
6.
Yeah, Sagan took 6 seconds. So
yep,
it'll be an interesting one.
So I believe that our leader is Lars Bohm. I think we're going to get... He is! Wow, Lars Bohm leads ahead of Peter Sagan by a margin of 2 seconds. Wow, that was a crucial moment then. Sagan's got to believe he can maybe steal this back with the run to Houffalize tomorrow, the Liège-Bastogne-Liège. Styly day, and then of course we go to Herardsbergen and Flanders for our grand finale. Wow, Lars Bohm was a very happy man for 2 reasons. He takes a stage win and the lead of the race, Brian.
Yeah, provisionally that's the race lead. He started today 10 seconds down, he gets a 10-second bonus.
Yeah, he has 3 seconds as well.
He gets 3 seconds as well, so that's 13 seconds. So Sagan takes 6 seconds back.
There we are.
Provisional general classification.
Yeah, we'll wait for the official result, but our maths is slightly sketchy at the moment.
I don't think 10 seconds and 10 seconds. He got 10 seconds, and he was 10 seconds down, so he's equal in time. Then you factor in the time. He's finished 3 seconds in front. But Sagan took 3 seconds bonus. 6 seconds
6 seconds bonus. I think they've forgotten Sagan's bonus. We'll see. By our recalibration, it looks like it might well be Peter Sagan. That's the provisional standings at the moment. They've been busy, Brian. Not as busy as us with steam coming off our maths calculators. So, as we originally thought, Sagan is the leader, but they've declared it as Lars Bohm at the moment.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. But my maths say when you start the day 10 seconds down, you take a 10-second bonus, you're equal. He finished 3 seconds in front of the group, but Sagan takes 6 seconds on the finishing line for second, which means that he's 3 seconds in front in my maths book.
We'll see. Just worrying about the last Primus.
No seconds on the last Primus.
Indeed, and in fact the Golden Kilo, neither of them were involved. But there you go. So this was our day. Sunweb caused a bit of worry, Brian, with a split in the peloton as they pushed on one of the many climbs on this day that mimics the Amstel Gold Race.
Yeah, they did. They pushed on. They tried to take advantage. Punctured by the race leader, involved Shard, giving him his wheel. He tried to push on, tried to come back to the front group, but he waited for the group behind, and eventually they brought him back. The gap at this time was only a matter of about 20 seconds, but they eventually brought him back just at the crucial time because they started racing, and it was Hepburn that went out on the attack from the original breakaway. Vakoc joined them. The rest of the group were absorbed by the main peloton, and yeah, they're just setting itself up nicely for the run in towards the finish. Over the golden kilometre, it was Vakoc who was taking majority of the seconds, and then we had an attack by Valgren, Wellens and Gujau. Wellens taking a 1 second bonus in a run-in, and then we saw an attack. We saw a change of wheels for De Volder and Wout van Aert. And 5 came together. Wellens, Valgren, Goujar made it across to Hepburn and Vakoc. And then over the top we saw some other attacks involving many of the top riders in this race. Sagan, Bohm, Dumoulin, Sutherland, Bakelands, Van Mark, Stuyven. Unfortunately for Thies Benoot, he crashed in that corner, but a group of about 12 riders, and then they were joined by about 4 other riders, and then they fought out the finish.
They did. Bohm looked hyper-motivated at this point. And likewise, Peter Sagan, who tried testing the group on a number of occasions. Greg Van Avermaet had joined in, and I think Peter Sagan was a bit loath to do too much work. In fact, the conversation between himself and Van Avermaet got quite animated at points. Ollie Nason looked lively for AG Tour Le Mondial, but it was Lars Bohm, after a series of attacks, that rolled off the front and decided to impose himself. Good work by him, and in fact his timing was impeccable. Just as we came into the top Dumoulin cycle park, he took it. Peter Sagan finishing second place, getting some bonus time himself, which by our original calculations suggested that Peter Sagan would be the leader of this race. It's been declared as Bohm, but we understand that it will be Sagan that pulls on that jersey. Nonetheless, take nothing away from Lars Bohm. What a terrific result by him. We expect your company for tomorrow as we go to Houffalize. It's the Liège-Bastogne-Liège day. It's going to be a cracker. 204 kilometres up for grabs will have to be dealt with tomorrow. 15:15 Central European time, so that'll be 2:15 in the afternoon in the United Kingdom. We very much look forward to your company as we race towards Houffalize on the Liège-Bastogne-Liège day as we dip back into Belgium for more fun on the Binckbank.